Hello? Hello? Is this thing on? Hi. This is the Cigar Professor. How are you? I just thought I'd traumatize you there for the opening of the show. Nice little close-up of my eyeball. Apparently we'll be using those to pay our taxes and stuff soon, little retinal scans, just, giving you a little taste of the future. However, giving us a little taste of the present is Damo. I don't want to accuse him of being predictable, but yeah, it's a PerDAMO. Stick 1, pack 7. Can't even wait for a week. He's got to be like, nah, dude. Nah, my man. We're smoking this first. Listen, I'm going to bring him on. He can explain himself. Damo, you couldn't wait. You couldn't wait another week? Do you have some special deal with Nick? That you have to smoke his cigars first?
Hang on. Let me just...
Okay, so for those who haven't made the connection yet, this is what we're smoking. Look at that emblem. Now look at that shirt again. Look at the shirt.
No, this is the hoodie.
Yeah, look at the hoodie.
Shirt.
Yeah. Okay. So, listen, I know that they're shaped a little bit phallically and all of that, but I just wish you wouldn't get such a hard on for PerDAMO, okay? Can you please explain yourself?
All right. This particular stick, this is the one that got me hooked on PerDAMO. This is the very first, not this individual stick, but this Vitola, this particular blend, and this sort of range in the PerDAMO range was the one that made me go, wow, these guys make great cigars.
Well, I got to say, the very first one that you introduced me to, which, if I recall correctly, was the 10th anniversary champagne, Connecticut in a Churchill, if my memory serves me correctly. I have to say, utterly blew me away. I mean, genuinely, utterly blew me away. And so I've been a bit of a fan ever since, sort of because of you. You've been doing your job. Obviously, Nick has you on the payroll, and you've been out there marketing his product, and it worked in my case. And I am a bit of a fan. I've got to say, though, I do have a tendency to think that their best product is their Connecticut. They do something a little bit different to most other brands with their Connecticut. They do that sort of barrel-aged, was it bourbon barrel-aged wrappers for their Connecticut's, and it works. It works for me. I think their Connecticut's are amazing. Not to say that their Maduros have been bad, but let me just say you've got some work to do tonight, Damo, to convince me that this is going to be on par with, let's say, something like a KO 554 or something that that I genuinely love in the Maduro
When I had this cigar for the first time, I'd only ever had about 5 or 6 cigars prior. So I was fairly new to it, and I found that it was full-bodied as far as the flavor was concerned, but it didn't knock my socks off when I had it. So
okay,
and see, that's appreciated the step up in flavor with this particular cigar at the time. I was able to better pull out the flavors that I hadn't really been picking up early on, smoking all the lighter cigars.
Well, that's exactly how I would describe something like a KO 554, right? Lovely, full-bodied, but doesn't knock your socks off. You go to a 660 or a KO 660, a flathead, KO flathead 660 to give it its full name, that will blow your head off. But the 554 I found was a good balance, and this happens to be a 556. So very, very similar in the Vitola. They're obviously different company, different blend. Richard, thank you as always. Now, I did say last week I had a little idea, and then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to share my idea with you. I'm not going to tell you what I'm thinking. But just, I don't know, I'll give you a really subtle hint. Super subtle. No one's going to get it. I promise you. You're never going to get it. But, try. See if you can. There is someone else we have to introduce. Some say that he smokes his cigars so fast that he finishes them before he starts. All we know is he's called the Omar. How are you, Omar?
Oh, man, it's so cold in here.
Yeah.
So cold.
Things are even smaller than normal, are they, Omar?
Yeah.
That's a sad state of affairs.
Didn't you say that?
What?
That things are normal?
No. That things for you are even smaller than they are normally, which is...
Well, that was you. That's what you said to me.
That's a bit sad. No, you're smaller than me, mate. You're smaller than normal. You're smaller than any normal human being ought to be. Let me just say that.
Whatever makes you happy, Topher.
People can debate what it is that I'm talking about. Listen.
Yeah.
So Richard is defending PerDAMO here. PerDAMO are all good cigars. Never had bad cigars. Love the flathead range. Well, there you go. So I'm a big fan of the flatheads and the Maduro. Damo's going to try and win me over to the PerDAMO Maduros tonight. And we had a Facebook user. I'm sorry, your name's not coming through. Saying, "Is this the PerDAMO advertising channel?" Yes, yes, it is. PerDAMO doesn't actually sponsor us, but we are so desperate that we're giving him free advertising in the hope that someday he will. Right?
Yeah, that's it.
Sorry, it's just how it is, right? All right.
That's it.
Now, we should get lit. We should get started. Do you know off the top of your head, or do I have to do a quick Google demo, the distinction between the 20th anniversary in the PerDAMO range and the 10th anniversary in the PerDAMO range?
The 20th anniversary was a blend range deliberately developed to celebrate the family's 20-year history of producing the cigars in Nicaragua. And it actually uses Cuban seed long filler, and it specifically uses the top priming of the leaves that they pick for it. So the interesting thing is that this one is actually from 3 different regions within Nicaragua, and I've got them on the screen because there was no way I was going to remember. Well, Esteli, I always remember because that's where they're.
Oh, sure, yeah, everyone can do that.
But it's Jalapa and Condega is the other region that they get it from. And the Maduro leaf that they use on this, it's a broadleaf Maduro wrapper. They actually do a double. It's the highest priming leaf, so it's like the super A++ grade of wrapper leaf. They do a double ferment on it. They then age it in cedar boxes, and then after that, they then throw it in a bourbon barrel for another 14 months before they even stick it on the cigar. And then they stick the cigars back in their humidor to age for about another 6 to 9 months on top of that, I think it is. So,
all right. See, I'm sorry, but now you're just starting to sound like a Nick Perdomo boyfriend. So I think the proof is in the pudding. Let's just get this thing lit. Let's just get it lit and see whether we can taste the difference.
Cutter.
Oh, stop it!
And I'm going to use
stop
this lighter.
It! Oh.
I'm going out tonight. All out tonight.
Omar, help me out here.
I'm not going to help you out here because you need a lot more than what I can offer, apparently. So,
well, given that you can offer absolutely nothing, that doesn't really narrow it down.
So, first comes first. Your tagline about Perdomo's Connecticut, we can go back in Cigar Professor, and that's my saying. So don't fucking try it.
Wait.
Trying to be original. Okay, I haven't finished before you start fucking again. Anyway, so yeah, I definitely say this, and I will say this again. My favorite Perdomos have been Connecticut, so I definitely re-echo that. I would say that. I am not a fan of Perdomo Sungrowns. Their Maduros are amazing. I still like their Maduros, but they do the best Connecticut's in my opinion. They really do.
Yep.
They have the Connecticut's. So colorful, so interesting, so intriguing. On a different note, Topher, I'm not here to babysit you. I'm fucking over that. So linguistically, Damo is not his boyfriend. He is Nick's girlfriend.
Sorry. I didn't realize that you'd changed how you identify, Damo. I didn't mean to offend the gods of social and political correctness. So please accept my groveling apology. So Rowan has actually asked a serious question, obviously not realizing what show he's watching. Serious questions not allowed, Rowan. We don't do that here. He said straight cut or punch, what is recommended? I actually debated the punch because I reckon it would take the punch really well. I opted for a straight cut, very happy with it. But honestly, I think this is one of those cigars where you can really just pick whatever you want.
Definitely.
Simon has called you out as a shill, Damo. You are a fake Perdomo friend. You're showing off the Perdomo lighter. You're showing off the Perdomo cutter. You've got the jacket. You've got the t-shirt. You had the hat. I noticed you've discarded that already. Where's the freaking ashtray? Where's your commitment, Damo? Prove me wrong.
My PerDAMO ashtray is actually over there, but tonight I'm actually just using my little ceramic one, which unfortunately isn't PerDAMO, but I do have the PerDAMO ashtray. So,
well, Blake is saving the PerDAMOs for when I get the keys to the new house in a month or so. That sounds like something worth celebrating. Nice. So well done, Blake.
Congratulations.
What are we getting on the light up, boys? What are we getting?
I was getting a little bit of coffee and definitely pepper on the finish.
Yep. Omar, you got anything useful to say?
And leather.
I'm giving you a hard time, no. But very interesting. Bit different than the one I had before. Slightly drier than the cigar that I had prior to this one. Touch drier, but there's a sweetness. There's a molasses-like sweetness, very herbal molasses sweetness, and you got a pepper at the end.
A touch of toast. It brings me back to almost like a golden syrup on toast. Not clear, but there's that's the overtone that I get from it. That light toasty flavor, the sweetness, the molassesy kind of syrupy flavor. All of that's there.
Only thing that stops me from saying syrupy is because it's drier. So it gives you more of a drier molasses type sugar, Repadura touch, but it's the same thing.
You just think it's dry because you're soft. To me, I don't think it's dry at all.
My parents have told me to be soft with women or men who act like women. So, you bring that up to me. So
look, I was going to save this for a bit later in the show, but you're not wrong. I mean, I was going back and reflecting on the last 18 months, doing my 78-week review, as we all do every time we get to the 78-week mark of any project. That's obviously a key milestone that we all look back and reflect. So I was doing my 78-week review and watching back a whole bunch of the past episodes, and I came to the difficult realization. This is hard for me. I hope you guys really, really appreciate what I'm about to say here. That I haven't been as nice to you as I probably should have. I've said a lot of mean things in the last 78 weeks, and I wanted to make amends. So, Omar, I've thought long and hard about what I could say to you that might mean a lot, and really help to make up for some of the damage that I've done. And I hope you accept this from the bottom of my heart. I really like your hair. I really, really, really like your hair.
I'm gonna reverse that a little bit. Do you have a heart?
I just think what you've done with your hair is amazing.
Oh, really?
I mean that just from the bottom of my heart. Yeah. And Damo, after all we've been through, all the work that you've put in, I just thought, I really should acknowledge that, to me, you exist. Yeah.
Thank you.
I hope that means as much to you. I mean, I'm trying to make up for
I've got
18 months worth of damage.
To Omar, and considering you like this haircut so much, I'm going to shout you to a haircut like this.
Oh wow! Thank you so much. You will never see me again. I'm never letting you anywhere near me. So guys, I hope that one half-hearted, mealy-mouthed, nice thing makes up for 18 months worth of abuse, because settle in, you're in for another 18 months ahead. So, that's it. That's all you get. That was my little midlife crisis. I'm glad I got that over with. I can get back to being myself again.
There's not
great
much
smoke production.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of almond in there as well that I'm starting to find coming through. That coffee note on the initial light up has settled down a bit. It's not quite as dry as it was, but I'm getting a little bit of earth and leather and almond in that at the moment.
Band just comes off almost by itself. No,
What you
no
want.
issues with overglue there. Flavor's lovely. This is exactly what you want from a Maduro. This is a quality, well-aged Maduro. It's not slapping you in the face with its flavor. It's got boldness. It's got confidence to its flavor, if that makes sense. Definitely sitting in that beautiful mid-range of toasty flavors, hints of coffee, hints of cacao, everything we love, the sweetness, the molasses, everything we love about a Maduro, but without really overpowering you. This would be right up there with a Flathead 554 for me. Its opening is every bit as good, and coming from me, that is high praise.
Yeah,
there's a bit of cinnamon on that back end of the sweetness too, if you notice. Just coming in for me.
It's not even a comparable stick to this Topher. Get your head out of your ass or ass out of your head, whichever you prefer. Like,
listen,
seriously,
you want to treat me like that? You go get your own damn show. Go get your own damn show. All right. You want to talk to me like that? You do it on somebody else's show.
Yeah. So fucking stop acting like you know about cigars, right? I would not even dare comparing it. It's way better steak. It's chalk and cheese.
Do I have to remind you that if it wasn't for the diversity quota, you wouldn't even be on this show, mate? All right. So you settle down.
Listen, this is applied to you become a candidate for Senate as well. So let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Oh, we think we want to have that conversation today, do we?
Yes.
Yes.
We can. But please don't say these anywhere close to fucking Flathead. What a shit cigar. Anyway, moving forward, this is not comparable. I'm sorry. With all the due respect,
you're not sorry. Don't lie to me. You're not sorry.
No,
you're enjoying this.
Yes, a little bit. But look, I'm not a fan of Flatheads as much as you are, and I think they're fair cigars.
I couldn't tell. You hit it really, really well.
But I have smoked them before. I may not like them as much as you like them, but it's a very, very different cigar.
It is. It's a very different cigar. It's
very
the opening is. No, I think the opening is actually similar. The way I expect these to develop is very, very different. The Flatheads do pack more of a punch in the end. They do develop a stronger punch. I've smoked this before. I know that where this is going to sit is going to remain in that medium to bold flavor profile rather than that full bold flavor profile. So you're absolutely right. They're very, very different sticks. But I do think the opening was comparable, and I will die on this hill. You can say whatever you want. I will die on this hill.
Oh man, come on, man! You take it personally, but I don't love PerDAMO as much as Damo does. But this is very nice. I think I could just almost feel and appreciate the quality of tobacco. The fermentation is far more refined than the Flatheads.
Yeah. There is refinement there. I'll give you that. Now, I will say, though, the Flatheads, when I smoked them, had come via Damo, the 554s that I had, and I believe they'd had some age in his humidor before I got them anyway. Yeah. So mine weren't necessarily fresh out of the factory.
Actually, do you know those ones I gave you? I still have, I think, 5 or 10 of those left in my humidor of the same batch, still aging beautifully.
Ooh, I might have to relieve you of a few of those. Daniel asked the question, what cigars hasn't Omar smoked before? I can tell you, Omar, I can name straight away off the top of my head one of the cigars that Damo has smoked and you, Omar, have not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Nick Perdomo's cigar.
Oh, no.
Nick Perdomo's cigar. You haven't smoked that?
No. That cigar is for Damo exclusively.
I don't know about that. I think that's what he tells Damo. That's what he tells Damo. Right. Tony's asking the big questions here. What is Omar's pronoun? Well, my first response is, which personality are we talking about here?
I thought it was
probably all got their own.
You always say it. You just say shut up all the time. I just thought that was his pronoun.
That could work. That's got to go in bingo. Shut up.
Hey, Damo pissed me off. I was a bit like, yeah. Damo really pissed me off today.
You're gonna use words, or are we just grunting and pointing now?
Oh,
a bit like.
It was just, yeah. He did a little bit bad.
What did he do this time? Did he not pick up when you were calling him and begging him for more cigars?
Nah, it wouldn't it wasn't nice to me. You ask him. He's your mate.
Damo. What's Omar being a sissy about this week?
Look, he doesn't know how to do business. I turned up to buy some stuff from his shop and he wouldn't let me pay. So we got into a fight over him running a business and not accepting payment from customers.
Yeah. I think you were lying because it was never, it was something that I was supposed to do for what you do. It was a contribution. So you can't just, put money into
That's
that.
Omar's excuse anyway.
So see, I'm seeing 5D chess here, right? I'm seeing Omar standing at that whiteboard with all the equations and all the lines drawn between them. Like, this man is a genius, and I don't say that often, Omar. He knows that if he refuses to allow you to pay for your product, he has more leverage when he comes back to you begging for more cigars next time. He's playing the long game.
Well, this is true.
He's playing the long game.
See, I've got the problem that I know that he's always running out of cigars, and so I'm only trying to help fund his habit.
Hey, that's not going to do anything to my cigar smoking habit. My cigar smoking habit is very deep. It's fucking very deep. It's just...
Listen, the first step to fixing the problem is acknowledging that you have it, which is why I acknowledge every day that I have Omar in my life. You've got to acknowledge the problem.
That is
a
better joke.
Oh, wow, coming from you, mate. That's I really appreciate that.
I like that.
The one thing I'm noticing, this cigar is really just staying alight on its own accord. It's not requiring any effort to keep it going. But that flavor that you picked up early on, the molasses on toast, for me, as I'm just really slowing it down with the puffs on it, that's actually transformed in... Have you ever had treacle cake?
Don't believe I have.
So basically, treacle cake is effectively just a plain sponge cake, but instead of using sugar, they use treacle or molasses. So if you can imagine sponge cake with that beautiful molasses treacle flavor through it, that's what I'm getting right now. It's gone from toasty into sort of cakey and molasses treacle flavor for me, which is absolutely gorgeous.
Damo, there's a note in there. Oh, sorry. You go, Topher.
No. I was just going to keep talking shit, which obviously is going to be more valuable than what you've got. But let's get yours out of the way first.
There's a note there that, when we lit it up, and it was like kind of, it was right at the end. There was some sort of spice. I think it was a black pepper or mild pepper. But that changed into another herbal note, which is very vegetable. It's quite profound. It's an after note, and I'm trying to get my finger on it, but...
Well, I was getting cinnamon after the pepper initially died off.
Cinnamon. The cinnamon is much lighter, but this is much more greener, earthy note.
Maybe a little tad of ginger in there as well?
Yeah. Look, when you got this, when you mix maybe cinnamon and ginger up and you have that, it's just close to the skin of ginger, when you get that in your mouth and you feel that it's more greener than the actual ginger spice, that kind of stuff.
It's almost nice. like a ginger biscuit sort of, that
dry.
Sweet. Yeah.
Dry sweet ginger biscuit.
Oh, you guys are finished? Oh, good. My mind wandered off there for a second. You were arguing about which shade of green the ginger had to be, and I just think you just went that little bit past where I could keep paying attention. Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude.
It's like he's almost jealous of he wants to have Nick Perdomo's cigar. Are you like, just say it. Just say it, Damo, I want it.
Listen, now that we're really getting down to home truths, I'm jealous of the relationship you guys have, just hanging out with each other, talking about Nick Perdomo's cigar, shaving each other's heads, like all the stuff that you do together. I just feel really left out down here. It's just sort of, I know I'm like one of the business partners and all that, but it's not the same, man.
Yeah. It's okay.
Well, instead of moving to Albury, you could move to Wollongong and then come and join us some more frequently.
Oh, yeah, dude. Imagine that.
Yeah, I too could live in the hellhole that is Sydney. That would be amazing. I mean, Wollongong's not actually Sydney, but yeah, no, I know, but you know, it's so close. Yeah, guys, you and I both know, all three of us. Omar doesn't count. We know that this is not actually a cigar show. What this is an insult show where we just get together and hang shit on each other.
Although Damo cops the least because he's a nicer man. He's a nicer guy.
Holds all the cigars. That's why.
We do have to maintain the pretense of being a cigar show. So talk to me, boys, about what are you drinking? What drinks have you paired with tonight's cigar?
Well, I have gone for an Earl Grey tea tonight because I felt like something a little bit sweeter to match the Maduro wrapper. And I must confess, it's been many weeks and I've fallen back into my pit of addiction and I've got some fizzy bean juice.
Oh, just when I thought you'd broken the habit, you dive right back in. You fall off the wagon. Omar, help me out here. Surely you.
Hey, well, Damo hooked me up with it too, so he's keeping me hooked on it. So
I had a bit of an issue today.
You've got issues every day, mate.
Yeah, I do, but this is more profound. So just fucking let me speak for a minute. I basically had this. I was so excited. I opened the oven up. My wife had cooked me these special midnight blue baked potatoes with some grilled bar, and I was so onto it. As soon as I finished my dinner, I realized I had only 125 mils of cream left.
Only.
What are you going to do?
All right.
I had just to use that.
No.
Yeah.
Only half a cup.
You not
only
even. Wow.
Wow.
No.
Yeah.
No. I'm not okay with that. No, you're out. Bye. No, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. No, show some commitment and have the right amount of cream for your damn tea. Do you promise never to do this again?
Dude, I didn't do it on purpose.
I don't care. You did it.
I'm trying, man. I'm fucking trying.
You are very trying. You have no idea how trying you are.
Dude, I thought I had 2 bottles. And I thought, okay, I've got a 1 bottle, 3-something mil, and 125.
All I'm hearing are excuses when what I want to be hearing are flavor notes. What are you getting?
Okay.
That almond flavor is coming back a little bit for me at the moment. Still got that molassesy sweetness to it. There's a very, very faint floral note in there as well that I can't quite pick, but the foot smoke is actually quite pleasant as well coming off it. And that might be, I think it might be coming a little bit off the foot smoke mixing that's giving me that floral note.
Hibiscus. It's got a right hibiscusy note in there.
Could be.
Yeah, to me, it's very hibiscus.
Well, guys, thank you very much for asking me what drink I'm having. I really appreciate the interest that you're showing in my life. I'm having the Beaumont number 1, which I had a long time ago. I didn't love, so I'm trying it again. In my mind, I'm kind of giving it a second chance. It's okay. I've only had 1 sip so far. I'll give it a few more sips before I start to cast any judgment. And of course, the good old cheap-ass Coles black tea, which is my staple, my go-to. And Chris, I really appreciate that you recognize what's important in this show. So thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. And thank you for that comment. The rest of you two, especially, you can get stuffed.
And I told her on a serious note, remember you describing about that drink that you didn't like before? And you're trying it again, right? Mm-hmm. In some ways you refer to your mind. So are you referring to a dark, empty vacuum hole, something, when you say my mind? Is that what it is?
No.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
Maybe he could actually try putting some cream in it.
Oh, Damo! dude. What a genius.
So I forgot to mention that tonight is actually our first ever Cigar Professor solo show, where I'm just going to be holding the fort for the rest of the night, and you guys are going to enjoy hanging out with me. So it's going to be good. Yeah, you know what? You know what that doesn't taste like? Fizzy bin juice or cream. Boom. Yeah, that's why you hang out with me. Convince me to give you another chance, boys. Convince me.
That was good, man. That was so fucking good. That was so good, man.
To Helen, could you please contribute to the view count drop? Just do us all a favor and just contribute to that, okay?
That was actually good, man. That was actually good. Oh, shit.
All right, boys. I'm getting towards the end of the first third. I think I was going to say I'm slightly ahead, but probably, only very slightly. I'm a slightly uneven burn there.
Nice
about the same as Omar. It is, and I think it was Omar made the comment. It just kind of looks after itself. Or it might have been you, Damo. It just kind of looks after itself. Once it was lit, it just sits there, which is one of the things I love about a good quality Maduro. A well-built Maduro is some of the easiest smoking you will ever have.
Yeah,
and sweet is one of the other trademark Maduros. Is that sweet note that comes in, and who doesn't love, a cigar that's got some form of sweetness in it, and then just burns incredibly without you having to baby it.
Yeah.
You said before, Damo, great smoke production. I agree. Only 1 or 2 rings so far. A little bit disappointed with that, but the actual smoke production is pretty good. Foot smoke, really, really nice. The flavors for me are becoming, and this is going to sound like an insult, but it's. I don't intend it this way. The flavors are becoming blended. I'm not getting really distinct flavors jumping out at me at this point. Often with a Maduro, you do. You find that, this is, you commented earlier, Damo, one of the things you love even about this particular stick is that the flavors are easier to pick. I'm not finding that at the moment. It tastes beautiful, but it's not like there are specific flavors jumping out at me.
There's a beautiful earthiness to this stick as well, which you usually get on other cigars, and it's usually quite, as you're saying, it's usually quite a standalone flavor. But I think that earthiness that I'm picking up in the stick at the moment is really what's drawing all those flavors together and really making it a nice, smooth, rounded flavor profile.
This is one of the features that we do notice about aged cigars is that the flavors do tend to integrate that little bit more. You don't have necessarily the distinctly different flavors. Everything just kind of works in a bit more harmony. And I wonder, this hasn't been aged together as a stick, but the wrapper has been aged for quite a substantial amount of time before it became a cigar. And I do wonder if that's contributing slightly.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm starting to get, coming out of the first third, starting on the second, I think I'm starting to get a little bit of wood notes coming through as well.
Okay. We'll quote Damo. It's just saying he's end of the first third, he's starting to get a little bit of a woody. Was that? That's what I heard.
Yeah, well.
I would say there's definitely cedar, small amounts of cedar as a final note after you exhale. It's a small amount of cedar.
Especially once you finish, like now, and then just actually pass some of just the air in your mouth over your sinuses, like that, definite cedar.
Yeah.
And that's more than likely the period that this wrap has been aged in the cedar.
Yeah.
Interesting that they've chosen to bourbon age this as well as the Connecticut's. Obviously, that's what PerDAMO are known for. Extra year, 18 months, whatever it is, in the bourbon barrels with the Connecticut wrappers. They've chosen to do it with this as well. I would almost love to smoke this and one that hasn't been in the bourbon barrels back to back. And obviously, they don't make one, but it'd be really interesting just to try and isolate exactly what is the difference of that time in the bourbon barrel. Is it detectable or is it just too subtle? Because I wonder if that's where some of the sweetness is coming from. That syrupy kind of, sweetness.
Definite possibility, and maybe that's one of the reasons they're so infatuated with doing that to so many of their cigars, is because of the quality that it imparts on the smoke.
Yeah, well, you can't go too far wrong. You know, a slight bourbon edge to a cigar. I mean, I can think of few things that you could infuse a cigar with, so to speak, because that's effectively what they're doing. They're infusing the wrapper with a very slight hint of bourbon. You know, I can think of few flavors that would go as well as bourbon. Maybe coffee, but even then, not so much with your Connecticut's.
That ginger note that we had earlier, I think, is starting to go a little bit more like a aniseed licorice note there for me as well.
It could be the tea thing, but also there's slight amounts of very mild hint of spearmint or peppermint type of note, which is very mild, but I'm just starting to get that now.
Yeah, see, I'm there with you on that one, Omar, for sure. And I was actually just about to comment. I'm getting this interesting. You know how pepper will often hit you on a particular part of the tongue. Sometimes it's on the tip of the tongue. Sometimes it'll be on your soft palate all the way in the back of the throat. I've got this interesting, and I was heading towards like maybe a peppermint was probably where I was heading, but actually on the middle of the tongue on the sides is actually where I'm really noticing that particular flavor settle. And it just has that slight sort of toothpaste peppermint kind of note to it. I mean, very slight, Omar. You're absolutely right. It's way in the background, but it's there.
Very light, but it's there. I think it's also coming from the whole earthy, gingery stuff, and it just transformed into that.
I think it's an evolution of that. Yeah.
And I think it's also kind of makes sense with the slight cedary touch. That kind of, you know, what Topher, you were saying that it's like a bunch of things coming through, but you cannot properly articulate it. But it's like a nice profile. Yeah,
it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, but I'm having a really hard time actually, articulating.
That's just you. You can't fucking articulate nothing for shit. So
there's a nice texture to the smoke.
That's what I'm known as. It's not inarticulate.
It's not thin smoke. It's not a thick smoke, but it's definitely got a nice velvety bit of body to the smoke as well.
Are you describing Nick Perdomo's cigar?
If there's smoke coming out of there, I don't want to know.
We're just gonna sign off on that. We're just signing off on that.
I think I've asked you this before, but I'll see if you remember the answer. What does it mean if you always smoke after sex?
You're doing it wrong?
It means you need more lube.
Damn.
Texture is kind of like marshmallow instead of cotton candy. There you go. Okay. As opposed to syrup.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I think it's drier.
Sort of halfway point.
Extra leg. Oof. Damo. That was getting a little hectic there.
Let's all just calm down, have a cold shower, and come back and finish our cigars, shall we? Well, I got to say, the Bowmore #1 is leaving a better impression on me this time than last time. Still not amazing, a little bit one-dimensional. Hey, we have an ash victim. You owned up to it this time, Omar. You're growing up. I respect that. I respect that. You're being honest about your mistakes now. That's really good, man. Good for you. Sorry, I wasn't talking about your parents' mistake. I'm just talking about what happened with your cigar just now, okay? I'm not going that deep.
Oh, you are incapable of going deep at any point in time. So
you've been talking to my wife, huh?
A little bit, but just have a chitty chat about this, yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to take this as a compliment, Simon. I'm going to wear that. I'm going to own that.
Yeah. That's pretty good, Simon.
Any comparison with Top Gun 2, I'll wear that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Now, Damo, we've talked about this. I'm the only one who knows, not Damo, Daniel. I'm the only one who knows how to blow rings, okay? I'm the only one.
Ooh.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Ooh. Don't.
Hey, where's Aaron? We haven't heard from him for a while.
I don't want to hear from him. It's been nice. Been nice. I'm just saying. Truth is, I tell a lie. I actually don't know how to blow a ring. It happens from time to time, but I still haven't figured out what I do differently. I actually don't know how to do it. I don't. I'm sorry. It just happens sometimes. Rarely.
Hey, I wonder if Big Kev's watching tonight as well.
Big Kev would have to be on YouTube, presumably.
Yeah, it's been a while.
After he so carelessly got himself kicked off on Facebook.
Poor Kev.
Poor guy. I'll probably put him off for life. He'll probably, just eventually he was just like, nah, stuff these guys. Yeah. Fair enough, too. I mean, I can understand why. So I'm noticing the absence of something, both in the comments from viewers and also from the three of us, and that is construction issues. Not a single comment about the draw, not a single comment about issues when cutting, splitting the wrapper, breaking the cap.
Yeah.
No one talking about wonky burn, nothing.
Yeah.
If you ever watch a video of the PerDAMO production line, they actually have about 18 or 20 people sitting at draw testing machines. And from what I'm led to believe, every cigar gets draw tested. Any that doesn't pass draw testing basically gets sent back to production to get unrolled, rewrapped, and done again.
Can we just pause and reflect for a second here? No, I haven't sat and watched videos of the PerDAMO production line because that doesn't qualify as porn in my book. Obviously, it does in yours. I'm what's called a normal human being, and I don't sit and watch that. Okay, you've got like a live feed in your house, I'm sure.
CAOs getting rolled.
yeah, I do. And no, the Oliva V Milanios. Come on, give me some credit.
Yeah.
Simon reports and says he did a straight cut, had a slight bulge in the middle like lengthways, or in the mid. I'm not quite sure what that means, Simon. Sorry. Which had me thinking a punch would have been better, but the draw is amazing, so no regrets. Well, all's well that ends well. But yeah, I can't quite picture what you mean by that, Simon.
That's interesting how a lot, not all, but a lot of smokers of cigars will go through phases with their cutting. There was a point where I was just all into punching, and then there was a point where I was into the V cuts, and I've gone full circle and back to the straight cuts again, and it's just one of those nice little things in the ritual of having your cigar that just makes it interesting and enjoyable, I think.
Yeah, I find Maduros, I have more confidence attempting a punch on a Maduro because I find those Maduro wrappers tend to split less often. And I don't know if it's my technique or whatever. You stay out of this, Omar. Maybe my technique isn't quite perfect, but with a punch cut, I am slightly more likely to cause a split in the cap than I am with a straight cut. So I'm more willing to experiment.
It's the twisting motion.
I think what it actually
really screw it.
Yeah, I think what it is probably actually pushing it all the way in. It's just not necessary. You actually only need to go in as deep as the cap is thick. And I think that's the mistake that I've been making with the punch cutter in the past. But yeah, It's I thought about it and just went for the straight cut, and it's smoking beautifully.
Mm.
I'm not even going to read that out. I'm not even going to acknowledge it. Daniel, you're dead to me.
Daniel, that was good, man.
That's probably why I can't blow rings.
Yeah.
And to think, Daniel, we were going to invite your family down here for Winston's birthday party, but obviously I can't do that now.
Is it going to be a cigar cake?
That would make me very happy. Apparently, Child Protective Services would have something to say about that, but whatever. What do we care about them, hey?
Yeah. Yep.
Daniel, I saw your reply. Yes. Stick him on the train. See how the conductor handles it.
Boys, I just had a very interesting note that I never had before. It's more of a mint chocolate or mint cacao. It's like almost like minty cacao. And seriously, this is the first time I had this note.
I'm getting a little bit more leather coming through that earthy note as well.
Wow.
I'm getting cigar. Definitely cigar.
Nick Perdomo cigar?
Just cigar. I'm not qualified to answer that, but just cigar.
Definitely. I definitely get that where Omar's coming from with that. There's definitely mine's a little bit more, rather than being, I get where he's coming with the mint. There's a sort of fresh vegetative-ness there for me. Not very bold by any chance, but for me at the moment, it's sort of leather, chocolate, and maybe a little bit of coffee in there as well.
The cacao I definitely get. The mint for me, that peppermint moment kind of passed. There was a moment there where I had a bit of that. The pepper's actually gone completely for me, and the mint isn't there either for me. But definitely I'm sitting in this lovely mid-strength, dry, 100% chocolate kind of range. No sugar in it. The sweetness has backed off as well. This is very much like your chocolate Damo that you make.
Yeah,
that 100% chocolate. It's very much sitting in that space.
Mm. Mm.
That foot smoke's quite pleasant too. It's just getting wafts of it blowing back and across my face every so often, and it's quite a nice foot smoke.
Mm.
It's certainly it's lovely in the room, lovely in the garage, just to have it sort of sitting, hanging in the air. Very, very this is one of those cigars that I think even non-cigar people, there are some cigars that non-cigar people will say, "Oh, I like the smell." I think this would be one of those.
Mm.
Still got a bit of almond on the finish for me as well.
Well, we're all mellowing right out.
I would almost say that it's maybe a little bit leaning more towards the pecan flavored nut as opposed to an almond, actually.
Yeah, it's never quite had almond for me.
Mm.
I could imagine it developing towards a slightly more bitter nut, but it's not sitting in the nut profile for me at all at the moment. A little bit of the leather you mentioned, I can certainly detect a bit of that coming through now. It wasn't there early on, but it's coming through now. That slight light vegetative note, I think that's the evolution of the peppermint sort of moves, has now moved through into that, I think. And just lovely dry chocolate.
Yep.
And we are all mellowing right out.
It's one of those sticks.
After a frenetic start to the show, we're all just like,
We peaked too soon.
Yeah, we did. Story of my life.
It's going really nicely with the Earl Grey tea, though, I must admit.
Yeah. Yeah. And with my cheap ass tea, same deal. So how's the temperature up in Sydney, boys? Let's talk about the weather.
Mine is like 3 degrees.
I think it's sitting at about 14 at the moment by the feel of it.
Okay. That's not too bad. Just by the feel of it.
It was 10 degrees at 10 o'clock this morning, my place.
Yeah, I had 3 degrees.
3 degrees?
It was very cold this morning, 3 degrees. It was, yeah.
The ice age is coming, boys.
Well, I went for a drive at one point while I was in Tassie. I went through the Highlands and ended up at 1,200 meters up in the air, and the car was telling me the outside temp was 1.5 degrees and beeping at me regularly to warn me about the possibility of ice on the roads and all kinds of stuff going on. Snow up on the peaks just a little bit higher up than what I was. It was a very nice place to drive with heated seats and a heater turned on inside the car. Not a nice place to live and wake up in the morning.
Where is that at?
It was just in the Highlands, Central Highlands of Tassie. Yeah. So there's a road there. If you're heading from Burnie to Hobart, you can go the boring way via Launceston and head down the highway, or you can head up over the hills. Oh, yeah. And I chose to head up over the hills because it's just a lot more fun. And I used to ride those roads on the motorbike, and it was a lot more fun. I'll give it that. I had a lot of fun, but it got proper cold.
Damn.
And just a totally off-topic question. Are there any coal mines in Tasmania, or did they shut them all down, or they just didn't exist?
They had them. I actually can't tell you whether they've still got them or not. Was it a coal mine that had that collapse at Beaconsfield in Tassie?
The Beaconsfield mine.
What was that? Was that a coal mine?
I can't remember. I know the one you're talking about. They actually used a interesting type of explosive to rescue those guys in the mine.
Trust you to know this. So Simon says, no, it's all nickel, etc. in Tassie.
Yeah.
Oh, nickel will be very important moving towards the future that the Greens want. But will they let us dig it out of the ground to have their utopia?
Not in Australia. We have to make 8-year-olds in the Congo do that for us.
Right. Fair enough. I guess it's cheaper.
In the name of, saving the environment and stuff. Sorry, if you're watching and you have absolutely no idea what we're talking about, it's stuff that happens on my TOFA page, which, whatever. We're enjoying cigars right now.
And vegetative note's starting to kick up a little notch for me at the moment. Not unpleasant. Just trying to pick what it's sort of trying to present at the moment.
Damo, how's your ash going?
Like that?
I was just thinking, this ash is just stacking beautifully. It's just effortless. You'd have to be a real numpty, like a real nuff, to lose your ash on a cigar that's as well built as this. What do you reckon, Damo?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to just be seriously incompetent and probably not the sort of person that should even be smoking cigars in the first place, to be honest.
Or sucking on them a bit too hard.
It's possible. It's possible. Simon makes an observation. He's not right now, but he was.
Oh, there's a ring.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few. There's a few, not as many as I like, but there was a few. I've got the wonderful catch-all excuse of I have to run the show, which means I have to use the mouse and the computer and I have to transfer the smoke from hand to hand. There's a lot more handling that goes on because I have the weighty responsibility of driving the show. So just saying, if my ash does happen to fall off, it'll be because of that.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Not due to incompetence like it is with other people.
Just a beautiful burn as well. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's making a very good case for itself, mate. I've got to admit, it's been a while since I've had a 554, so it's not fresh enough in my memory.
But for someone who is genuinely wanting to get into cigars and is looking to explore beyond a Connecticut, I reckon this is a good candidate for that.
You'd build up to it. You go through the Olivas, you'd go through a few other things on the way, but yes.
Yeah.
I think it's a serious smoke, this one. You got to really build up to that. You got to really build up to that. You got to build up to that.
There's a reason we didn't have it in the first, couple of packs with the Cigar Professor.
Yeah.
This is true.
You got to build up to that because I think, for the reasons that you may have at very early stage of a cigar smoking and you may not actually appreciate the cigar, how good it is.
Yeah, that's true.
You might not appreciate it if you haven't been on the journey, but I don't think it's a cigar that would put you off it either.
No, that's true. I can see that. I can see that. It's not really heavy hitting. It's not. But I think our perspective is also a little bit different. I think if I were to have it as my first cigar, I'm not sure, or the second cigar, or third cigar. But I would say this, for someone who has smoked cigar before, this would be something that you want to try for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You can see the profile, the craftsmanship that went into this is great.
Well, I think Daniel is auditioning for Damo's job, looking for the wankiest flavor notes he can possibly think of. A barbecue capsicum, anyone?
I could see where that vegetative note gets that capsicum flavor idea from. Yeah.
The barbecue, clear. Yep, no argument with that. There you go, Daniel. You know what? If you work hard, maybe one day you too can be paid absolutely nothing to pour love and time into the Cigar Professor.
Look, if you can blow smoke.
Hey. Not replacing me, replacing Damo. Yeah, Chris, lovely place. Beaconsfield's a gold mine. There you go. Okay. I thoroughly enjoyed driving through those towns and looking at the freezing cold out the window. It was lovely to see the world in that way with a heated seat. I chose not to turn on the massage function just because, that's the kind of guy I am. Hey!
Just dropped.
I don't want to make a big deal out of it or anything, but winner.
Hopefully you deserve that. You deserve that. It doesn't happen to you often.
Flavor changes now.
See, Omar, I'd love to go back and see how many times in the history of the Cigar Professor you've said to me that I don't win the cigar challenge very often, because I think you've said that quite a few times now.
Well, we have to go back in Cigar Professor and see how many times you fucking make it to begin with.
Yeah. And then every single time you say the same thing like a broken record. Oh, that doesn't happen very often, just like I said last week. Yeah,
Go find one. Go find an episode.
I've got real things to do with my life, Omar. You do it.
Yep.
So that vegetative note has just suddenly gone a bit like celery seed for me now. Celery seed and cedar. Since the ash dropped.
Well, I'm happy to report, as the only one who can now report on this cigar without the ash having dropped at any point in time and ruining the flavors like you boys have, that it tastes much the same as I described a little while ago.
If I
Vegetative
had
note.
the whole show holding my cigar like that, I'd probably still have my ash too.
Hey,
There's no skill in that.
Did you not hear me when I talked about all the handling and all of the transferring? I've put mine on my cigar rest a couple of times too. Yeah, you do it now with no ash. Hey, I'm not you. I'm not doing these ones.
That's Omar.
What? What are you saying? If only cigars were as popular as cars, I reckon we could be the top gear of cigars if only they were popular enough.
Yeah, imagine that.
3 ugly old men hanging shit on each other. It works.
Oh,
I'm not getting the peppermint note there, but I'm definitely getting that that sensation of freshness in your mouth from the peppermint.
Yeah,
I'm getting a bit of that as well at the moment.
Okay.
it's definitely a hint of that there. It's kind of never gone, to be honest. It's always been in and out of this profile.
I'm just stopping to actually have a look at it. And, obviously there's only sort of the final third left of the wrapper, but it's just got this lovely sheen, this lovely kind of look to it. Good amount of veins, not too strong, but enough to let you know there's some body there. No one's reported any nicotine yet.
No.
Well, Dave. Check with Dave.
Well, I know it doesn't even rate nicotine. Like we could just inject it straight into pure nicotine straight into him, and he still wouldn't register it.
I think that's what is it. Doesn't Omar call that breakfast?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pre-breakfast.
Pre-breakfast. It's what gets you out of bed to get to breakfast.
Get to breakfast.
Yeah. So I've always wondered: do you hook yourself up to the machine before you fall asleep? You can just hit the button straight away, or
mandatory?
Yeah, because I couldn't imagine you trying to get the needle into a vein in that state in the morning.
Not in the morning.
Work. Yeah.
Not in the morning. Put it on a timer, go to bed, connect the machine, boom.
Yeah. Hey, everyone's got to have a routine.
That's it.
So someone makes a good point here. And Damo, I'm going to give you a quick homework project to do, if you would, to find out what the binder is on this. I believe it's a Nicaraguan. No, I'm thinking of a different cigar. I don't know what the binder is on this. Yeah, no, I'm thinking of another.
It's all Nicaraguan.
All Nicaraguan, okay.
Nicaraguan Puro.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all Nicaraguan tobacco.
Yeah, right. Well, I'd say what you're looking at there, Simon, is probably going to be the binder. And you're right. Like I've got the same thing going on in mine, but it's just a magnificent. I'm not trying to flex on you boys, but let me show you my ash. Like that is a beautiful construction.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what next week's cigar is like, because that's the 10th anniversary in a Maduro.
Yeah. To be honest, in the past, I've enjoyed the 10th more than I've enjoyed the 20th. When I've had the Maduro range. Now this is challenging that somewhat. This is making a very, very good case for itself. But overall, I actually have enjoyed the 10th anniversary, particularly in the Connecticut. I think the 10th anniversary Connecticut is one of the all-time great Connecticut cigars. I think it's just hard to match. And the 20th is a good cigar, but in the Connecticut, it's not at the same level.
Yeah,
in my opinion. Whereas this is making a very good case for itself. I think you were saying, Omar, before about how the sun-grown just didn't quite work. Now, and you remember we had the three, the Connecticut, the sun-grown, and the Maduro back-to-back in pack 3, I think it was, in the Figurado, in the 10th anniversary in the Figurado. And I was really, really hopeful that sun-grown was going to be the pick. I really came into that thinking that was going to be the one. And it just wasn't. You know, the Connecticut was better and the Maduro was better.
I've tried so many things that PerDAMO just, I think the sun-growns are not their thing, maybe. But Connecticut, man, wow.
Oh, yeah, you didn't say that on the ESV sun-grown when we were.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's most certainly true. Most certainly true. I think ESV is probably their best overall, their cream of the crop that they pride themselves on.
Well, you'd hope so. It is their headline act.
Yeah, that's right.
And it shows. Like, I've never had a bad ESV. They're all sensational.
Well, the ESVs are also a single farm produced cigar as well. All from Pink and Natalie.
Yeah, so Simon is agreeing with that. The sun-grown ESV that we had around Christmas time was one of my all-time favorite smoking experiences. Yeah, you're right. That is definitely the exception. But the sun-grown in the 10th anniversary, I would personally skip.
Yeah, I would too. I think their Maduro in the late selection was wow. I thought that was up there too. I mean,
we haven't had that in the Cigar Professor, though, have we?
I think we did.
The ESV Maduro.
Yeah.
Did we?
We did.
Well, that one
is
is the Connecticut,
sun-grown, and the Maduro.
Yeah.
In the ESV.
Yeah.
We did indeed.
I have I feel like Gandalf in the Mines of Moria. I have no recollection of this place.
What was a gorgeous thing.
Might have been one of the shows you missed.
It was probably one of the shows where I was too drunk to remember. That's probably what it was. I mean, I have to cope with you guys somehow. Don't judge me.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That vegetative note has kicked up to the point now where it's just approaching that point where it becomes slightly sour or slightly bitter. Maybe it's not clear yet where it's going to go, but it's becoming the dominant flavor.
Yeah.
Hence the celery seed that I was mentioning when the ash dropped.
Yeah. Daniel's got it right. I don't recall. I cannot recall specifically that information. So I'll just get
that's your training for being a senator.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm sorry to report that it's looking increasingly unlikely that that's going to happen.
Nah, dude. Don't say that.
Just telling you how the numbers are going. It's still possible. We won't know until all the counts done, and that looks like it probably won't be now till the middle of next week the way they're going. But still possible, but increasingly unlikely.
Takes time to rub out the ticks and numbers and.
No, that's right. That's right. It matters not who. It's not the voting that counts; it's who counts the votes.
Exactly.
Yep, absolutely.
No, in all seriousness, because someone will trawl through all my videos to try and find stuff to use against me in the future sometime. I think the federal elections in Australia are actually very well done, and I don't think much of that goes on, if any. State elections, that's a different story.
Actually, I'm talking of elections. I read an article, I think it was today or yesterday, that WA changed the the rules around their state elections or something.
Right.
The weighting of all the I didn't quite follow, but it basically meant that the cities had more of a contributing factor to the Senate than the regional areas.
Okay. Just doing a slight preemptive touch up here. I just had one little edge that was being left behind, and because we're getting down to the business end, I didn't want it to become a problem. So just doing a bit of a preemptive touch up.
So you just don't sacrifice your burn for the ash, you know?
Speaking of which.
There you go. About time.
It has abandoned me in my moment of need.
That's just hopeless,
Now,
man.
coming from you, let's do a quick action replay to half an hour ago when you lost yours.
Just grow up, man. What? Just chill.
No, mate. Growing old is mandatory. Growing up is optional.
Oh, yeah.
And I refuse. So, Daniel, I'm sorry to say Steve Mav is not in with a chance because Jackie Lambie will get the Liberal Party preferences before he does. So if it's not me, it is going to be Jackie Lambie. I'm sorry. It's literally the first 6 get it. Jackie Lambie is almost, or not Jackie Lambie, Tammy Tyrrell, who's the Jackie Lambie candidate, is going to get the 6th spot, and I will be in 7th place.
So the Liberals are preferencing Lambie over the Liberal Democrats. And
no, over One Nation. And we had to fight them. We had to fight them to get ourselves in front of Jackie Lambie. They had us behind Jackie Lambie as well to start with.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to go in and negotiate with them to get that changed. So that's the only reason I'm still in with the chance. If we hadn't changed that, I'd be out. I'd have no chance left. As it is, it's only a small chance, but that chance only exists because of that.
Well, look at all the weeds that grow up in the cracks of the footpath. That's always a small chance, but they still manage to do it.
Still managed to do it. That's a good little analogy for me in the Senate. A little weed. Can't get rid of me no matter how much they hate me. Just a little weed in their garden.
Tell you what, those weeds can do a lot of damage, though.
That's it.
If only I get the chance. Yeah, we're in the process of a name change now. They went looking for someone talented and knowledgeable, skillful, erudite to lead the project for the rebranding, and they couldn't find anyone, so they've actually picked me. And I'll be being announced next week as the head of the campaign committee, which will be in charge of the rebrand.
You need one of these agencies that do all the ads for like Nike and stuff like that.
How many limbs are you planning on donating?
Well, hopefully you've had enough first preference votes to get a bit of cash.
Nah. A few lower house seats did, but none of the Senate seats did.
Right.
If I'd hit 4%, I'd be very likely to get the Senate seat. If I'd managed to get that high, but yeah, we fell well short of that, unfortunately.
It will all change.
Well, it needs to. People are sick of me talking about Venezuela, but there's nothing magic about us that protects us from going there if we keep doing the stupid stuff we're doing.
Well, it's worse than Venezuela. Look at Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
What's happening there?
It's a mess.
Implemented extreme green policies, basically, and the country is broke, is
out of food,
food, out of fuel, out of gas, running out of electricity.
Yeah.
So
no, it's a basket. I mean, it was never good. They had a lot of corruption there already, so it was always a bad situation there. But they've completely basket cased themselves in a matter of about 5 years or something. Just with extreme sort of energy policies, every farmer was required to become a
Organic.
He was required to become an organic farmer, so all the production levels dropped as a result. And yeah, it's just, yeah, it's horrible. I've got the local cafe here that I go to every day. The owners there are Sri Lankans. They came here for a better life and then had to endure the last 2 years in Victoria. And they were thinking about heading home, and then all of a sudden, it all just went horribly wrong back there as well.
Wow.
Daniel, very, very, very unlikely. I thought he was going to come home strong and would be in with a chance, but the numbers aren't stacking up that way. It's Jackie Lambie, and the only one left, when you look at how the preferences will flow, the only one left with a chance to actually get over the top of Jackie Lambie is me. And that's it. They should have a booming oil industry. They should have a booming tourism industry. They should have a booming food industry. It's very, very sad to see what's happened over there. Final third, boys. How's it going for you?
The vegetative note's been quite predominant for me in the coming down to the nub. I haven't enjoyed the smoke as much as I did before the ash dropped.
You haven't?
Not as much. Before the ash dropped, it was just absolutely gorgeous. Then the ash dropped and that vegetative note kicked up, and it lost a lot of that smooth, rounded, mellow, earthy notes.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's become sharper. I'm getting a sharpness on the tip of the tongue now. Bottom lip is beginning to pick it up as well. That the last half of the final third, I'd say into the final third before my ash dropped, it was still same as you, Damo, still beautiful. After that ash dropped right down at the business end, if I was an American, I would have put it down. Would have put it down and lit up something else. I'm also, I would say, yeah, true. I'm just getting the first hints of a nicotine hit as well, I would say.
I would say it's still very, very smokable. I would probably gonna go a bit longer than that. It's interesting that as close as getting to the nub, there's no harshness, there's no bitterness to me. The only thing that is quite profound is the green vegetable sort of profile. There's so much leather, there's so much cedar, there's no much sweetness. Just that.
It's interesting though. It's no longer that crisp, clean sort of celery note. It is a dirtier,
denser head.
For want of a better word, it's a dirtier vegetative note. A little bit more of an earth tone in it.
Yeah.
Well, me personally, I think I'm at the point where I just want to say thank you. Because, I'm really down to the
business end.
Business end.
But I mean, that's a solid hour 10.
Yeah,
it is.
No, it wasn't. Wasn't a shot in the dark towards anyone. It was just because I thought it was funny, and it was, despite the fact that a few people got really butthurt about it. It was very funny. Did you guys see that video that I put up on election day? Me having an election day sausage standing in front of one of the animal.
Yeah, I saw that.
The live export posters. I had about 1,000 people jump on it saying it was funny, and about 10 people jump on it saying they were disgusted and disappointed and, oh, what a horrible human being I am.
Fuck. Let's take fucking shit so seriously. Literally.
What a lot of people don't understand or appreciate is pre-prepared meat needs to be kept refrigerated. And the quantities that we export and the capacity of the countries that they go to keep that quantity of meat refrigerated doesn't exist.
Yeah. Yep. I'm all for the humane treatment of animals. On the rare occasions when I do go hunting, I'm always looking for a good clean shot, similar to what Damo was talking about when he took his first deer a couple of weeks back. That Damo had let a couple of deer go because he didn't have a shot that he was sure was going to be good and clean and everything. But at the end of the day, animals are a very good source of nutrition. And yes, I know you can get your protein from elsewhere. We can also get them from animals.
Well, animals are more efficient at converting vegetables into protein than we are. They've got a digestive system capable of doing that. Plus, they taste better.
That right there. Yes.
Did you see that was it Naz that Avi bailed up in Davos and then tried to get Avi and sorry, who was mind blank? Who was with Avi most of the way? Rukshan, and got them for having a steak and saying that them eating a steak was contributing 15% of emissions, but him flying on a bloody jet to go there and all the things he does only contributes to 3% of emissions or some crap like that. Obviously, math wasn't his strong point at school.
Yeah. Well, it's what they say. Why don't the commies have any good economists? Because if there's a good economist, they're not a commie anymore. It's the same thing. If you're good at maths, you don't buy into a lot of that nonsense. But anyway, we've turned this into a political show. Let's not do that.
I don't think the economists, in the sense of whole entire running the political economy aspect of a nation state, has much to do with it. But the problem with being chemo is that it's a fundamental issue of human rights, fundamental issue of your voices, fundamental issue of who you are. You're allowed to say something that you don't appreciate, and it's that's a bigger issue. That's a more human issue.
There's a phrase that I'm coming to appreciate more and more. I used to use it flippantly, but I'm actually beginning to realize this is a really, really important point. And people would argue with me, and I would say, well, you're allowed to be wrong. And I would say that flippantly, but now I'm realizing actually, in their mind, I'm wrong. The difference, and in my mind, they're wrong. The difference is they don't believe I'm allowed to be wrong. And I do believe that they're allowed to be wrong. And that's actually the crux of the issue. They say you're wrong and you're not allowed to be.
Okay, that's getting too hot for me too.
Yeah, it's getting pretty hot for me too. I'm pretty close to putting this down.
Yeah, I really don't think I'm going to get much beyond that. Well, it was almost an hour 20.
Yeah.
Getting there. Yeah. Hour 15.
Yep.
Beautiful smoke for right down until halfway through that final third when my ash finally dropped for the first time. That was a really, really, really beautiful stick. After that, yeah, this is why cigars aren't supposed to be smoked down to this point.
Yep. I'll have to let Nick know that we poor Aussies have to smoke all the way down to the nub. Yeah. Maybe he can make a special stick for me.
An Australian edition stick that's good all the way through. Or just add another inch onto the length of it so that we can smoke, the full, call it a 6, but make it a 7. And that way we can smoke the 6 inches and feel like we've got our whole cigar, That's
right. That's right.
Well, Damo, once again, I know I give you shit about all the PerDAMOs and all that sort of stuff, but another good stick, another very, very good selection to kick off pack number 7. And can you believe at the end of pack number 8, we will be having our 2nd birthday.
Yeah.
Wow. So we are, time is absolutely flying by, but mate, thank you very much. Omar, you exist.
Definitely exist.
Yeah.
No nicotine hits.
Yeah. And look, on that bombshell, we will end the show. And thank you very much for joining us. I believe, Damo, correct me if I'm wrong, I do believe we have a few of pack 7 left.
We do, yes.
So this is by far the cheapest way to restock your humidor is buying our packs. So if you're wanting to just fatten out your humidor, get in touch through the Facebook page, and we'll be happy to help you out. But if we don't hear from you before then, we will see you next week. Thanks very much for joining us.
See you then.